now, build something from the ground up. Yeah, we like to clown, talk about some real stuff. Yeah, something profound. It's a pleasure that you're hearing us. Wouldn't mess around. It's a topic of discussion worth talking. That we bust it, put a nail in the coffin. If you love it, then you love it. If you don't mean nothing. Still bring it to the public. Y'all don't feed the animals. Put them in a cage. They couldn't handle truth. We gonna bust out the gate like some cannibals. Same face, same channel, messing with the tune. A bunch of idiots stuck in one room. Can't take us serious. You love what we feeding you. I'm with the show, yeah, proceed with the interview. Local celebrities, snatch a toy from your cereal. Don't feed the animals.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another great episode of Don't Feed the Animals podcast. I am your host as always, James, and with me is my sexy, plump, better half, Berto.
The king of the Blumpkins, Berto.
Yep, Blumpkin master.
You don't know what a Blumpkin is. Look it up. 2020.
Yeah, people gotta get up to times with all these fucking
Terminologies.
saying.
Oh, actually, you know what? Started off a little bit. I learned a new terminology thanks to Rick and Morty.
What's that?
The term is called cum gutters. And it's the part on your body when you're ripped, when you actually have a physique, unlike us.
Okay.
Where that bone pops up through your pelvis. You know, that one that like peeks over the pants.
Okay.
That's called the cum gutters. This is, I guess, the deal is on UrbanDictionary.com is when you jack off, it just, you know, when you stand up, it just rushes down your cum gutters. This is the kind of stuff you just need to educate the masses.
Welcome to Don't Feed the Animals podcast, where we go on and just tell you about our days and the things that we find out and learn in life. Where we go and just... Hey, I feel like I coined the term buddy putty the other day.
You did. You unironically did it. I have more of a cum ravine than I would say a cum gutter. Yeah. It kind of pulls up in one area.
Yeah.
But enough about me. Let's talk more about this buddy putty.
No, that was it. not good. What? Not even a couple of minutes, not including the intro. We're already talking about jizz. All right. So, well, I know it's been a while. Prior to this podcast was my comeback podcast, and now I'm still, trying to keep this train going. A lot of people, not a new listeners, which is exciting and very. I'm happy because I gained a good amount of new listeners thanks to a show that I was on, a stream that I was on. I would think it was like the day after my birthday. I jumped on Mark Ribier's stream, and if you don't know who that is, I do talk about it on my other show that I'm on, Two Hosts, One Mini Table with the Babe. We actually have a clip of that whole thing. I was going to put the clip on this show, but I'm like, you can... I'm not going to overdo that. You guys can find it. If anything, go to Mark's channel and look at it there. It's like 41 minutes into his hot quarantine stream. He basically puts up there, and hot and steamy stream. And
Be careful. You will fall in love.
You will. Everybody I've showed Mark to has absolutely adored that man. So I do too. I'm glad that he allowed me to shout out this show. And if you are new to this show, thank you for joining us. It pretty much goes downhill from here. There's a lot of, jizz references and all that. But yeah. So, moving on from that. Welcome to Don't Feed the Animals podcast. Like I was saying, during my week, I'm still have not gone back to work. I start work next week. And that's going to be interesting considering quarantining has been pretty much a lifestyle thing for the past 2 months for me. And I'm going to try to see how everything goes. And, life has been, my life has been impacted in many ways during these times. I am now living with you, Berto.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains a lot.
It does. It does. It explains why I never leave and
How you're always here when I wake up.
I shower, yeah.
How you have a key to my house.
Yep. It does. So the reason why I'm here is because I'm going to talk about it eventually, because I feel like, but what better time than now? I was happily engaged, and now I am no longer. I have moved on from my relationship with my fiance, and I have moved out. Things have just fizzled out is probably the best, nicest way I could put it. Mistakes were made from both parties, and just things happen. During a quarantine, though, it's a little bit more rough to deal with, for sure. And I know that I'm going to try my best to go above and beyond and just overcome this and start and focus on new, better things. So hopefully that turns out great, So I'm glad I get to, continue my podcast, continue the things I like with you, Berto, and and other future people to be on the show, and just keep on using this as a form of distraction and to help self-improve my thought process on everything. So, yeah. Thank you for being a friend and helping me out in this time of need too, by the way.
Yeah, man.
It's rough.
This whole thing's a live and learn situation,
The quarantine or my relationship turning into shit?
Both.
Great. It's fun when it's at the same time.
Right.
It's like a mashup of depression.
It kind of just puts more weight on your shoulders and say, how much can you carry?
Yeah. A lot, apparently. Apparently, I have a lot of little baggage now. It's weird, man. It's weird because I was in a relationship for about 10 years, engaged for at least half that time. And yeah, it's now I'm older. I just had a birthday, and it's crazy. I don't know what I'm doing now. It's like life has impacted me in such an interesting way where I really just I have no clue on what the future has for me.
Right. Because you've been doing, the same thing that you've known for the last 10 years. And
yeah.
That's, your relationship, your job, your routine, your habits, all that. And then it's suddenly, lifted from under you. And then you got to figure out how to catch yourself.
Right.
Because, a lot has changed in 10 years in every aspect of life. But especially in the dating scene. And
you fucking kidding me?
That's something I think about. That if I was single at this time, God forbid, something happened.
You're happily newlywed, by the way.
Yes.
For those people who don't know, you weren't married when we first started this podcast.
No, we got married officially, finally, in October of 2019.
It's beautiful, right? When I stopped my podcast. So, yeah, that's awesome.
But even if it's now or 10 years from now, I still wouldn't know what to do. I'd be a nervous wreck too.
Well, right now, dating now, I feel like is going to be an impossibility. Not something that I'm really looking to do. I don't have to do that. One thing I've realized is self-validation with another is not necessarily the thing that I need at the moment.
It's not something you need right away, but it's something everybody
in the future
needs
maybe.
Inevitably.
Yeah, I do feel like
one way or another.
And one way or another, I do need contact with other people in certain ways, but it's not something that I know that it's gonna happen anytime soon, especially in this social climate, and just it was hard before. Now it's impossible. I feel to just
it's almost borderline impossible because you know, you have to like, you know, just literally sit there and like analyze the person while they're analyzing you, and make sure that you're being careful to not say anything that might bother them, because you don't know their life until you really get to know them later on. And you don't want to accidentally make a joke about something or say something and then they're just gonna like flip out or have a bad time, or
Right.
you know, and that's not your end game. You know, your end game is to get with someone who you vibe with,
Right.
and you don't want to like throw it off immediately because you said a joke that happens to be offensive towards them or whatever. Because, you know,
I'm gonna say whatever the fuck.
no,
I
you can
want.
say whatever the fuck you want, but you know, just saying you know, you don't know if it's going to bother that person or not. You know,
But why step on eggshells? Be yourself. Listen, one thing I've taken out of this relationship, and by the way, no ill will, negativity or anything from my ex. She was great. It was just something that just happened. You know, it just happened over time. You know, falling apart as people. You know, I can't say more nice things about, you know, her as a person. So it's just and I would hope that she says that she thinks the same about me. But moving on from that, it's funny how you always just want to do you always want more, and I think you really have to look back. And I could honestly say I look at myself as a person and I go, you know what, I'm not a bad person. You know, I'm not a bad person. I know I want people to be happy who are around me and comfortable. I do that, but also I know who I am and I know what I mean. And I know that we live in a time where social issues and speaking in certain ways about certain topics is touchy, because you have to have kind of like your ear on the ground on what is appropriate or not. And,
and what's the current climate, you know,
right,
socially or unfortunately politically, but you know,
I think
in every aspect of that word and term.
I think though that one can move. I think that us as a society might move beyond that, hopefully. And here's the thing: I want someone at least it's all about finding like-minded individuals, at least in that sense. I mean, because getting to be with somebody for so long and just like living with them and just sharing space, like there's always this fucking ups and downs and triggers and all that stuff, and it's just really how you handle it at the end of the day. Me, I'm all about that love shit. I feel like, yeah, that's gonna be rough, but at the end of the day, if you sit across the room from somebody, whether the whole fucking world is burning out beside you, you look at that person you look in each other's eyes and you go, I got your back, you got mine, we're good. I think that's the end game as far as finding a spouse, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and that's what I have with Cass. That's how I feel that I have with Cass. Anyway.
I would hope so. You're married to her.
That no matter, no matter what's happening in the world or at work or whatever, that I can come here and be with her and feel safe and okay and all around held together.
Bro, now more than ever is an example of that, of just shit just turning on its head.
Yeah, and it's always been a talk, a discussion about like, oh, you know, I love when you're here all the time and this and that. You know, people say that.
Yeah.
But during this quarantine, being here for the past 45-ish plus days,
yeah,
I have come to term and really feel that I do love being here with her all the time.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's beautiful. I'm
going to start working towards finding a job that I can work from home. And whether it's learning how to do video editing or something on the computer, or just...
Since when are you fucking bringing this shit up, bro?
It's something I've always pondered in my mind, but it's just taking those steps towards that. Like going to Skillshare, not sponsored, or whatever, to learn tips and tricks. I don't know the first thing about video editing. And
Berto, Jesus.
Yeah.
I want to be a content creator. And
You
I would
do?
need more than what I need more than
Well, I
ever.
think the first step we need to do is start a podcast.
Wait a minute. All right, I think I know a guy.
Wait a second. What's this microphone?
Yeah.
But like anything, just something I can do from home remotely, not have to really go anywhere, meet anybody if I don't need to. Once I have a portfolio, I guess, set up.
Yeah.
Or in the meantime, if I don't learn that or whatever, I can. Cassie brought up an idea today of being like a middleman service and going to, like, since we live in Orlando,
Yeah.
I can go to Disney, pick up all this shit that people want that they can't come to fucking Disney for because they don't want to spend $400+ on a trip to Orlando just to go and get a lightsaber or a crystal
It's
or
almost
whatever.
cheaper for
and I
them
don't want
to-
to sell it like some assholes online are doing it for. Like, oh, you want a fucking red crystal that costs $15 from Disney? It's gonna be $85, bitch.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I'm like, I just want to make enough to.
I mean, to their logic, it saves them a plane ticket and a hotel,
Right.
and then staying
yes,
there.
spending $85
But
is
on the
better
same
than,
note, they still don't get to go to Disney and experience it.
Right.
And that's worth whatever money they're going to spend. Don't make someone feel extra bad for not being able to be there.
Right. And
Yeah.
so, like, I would, if I do decide to do that, I wouldn't dip my toes in it because there are things that I don't like. I don't want to be a scalper in the sense of the word, but I want to make a comfortable amount that it seems reasonable between me going out of my way, driving, tolls,
Yeah.
gas, whatever.
Yeah, put that
time
all
spent.
in. Equate that and then shipping.
Right, and then shipping. Like, once if I start doing that, then I will invest towards getting a better printer, or a printer in general,
Yeah.
So that way I can just ship and pack things from here and have them picked up, and I don't have to go to the fucking post office. And if I do go to the post office, I have it all printed out and just drop it off.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I need to set myself up for success in those physical manners as far as, like, getting supplies and figure out where to store it, because I don't want a bunch of fucking bullshit lying around my house,
No, I know. Yeah, I mean, I know. I knew of plenty of people who used to, who would have, like, online stores, and they would do shit like that with clothing and other things.
My wife used to work with someone who did that, and he quit the job they worked together with, and that's what he currently still does, as far as I know. Even during this time, he still does that. He goes to the parks. He goes to certain places that have exclusives, stuff, like even S-Bucks, like, oh, they only have, like, the special Disney mugs at the
Right.
parks and stuff like that. So
Right.
he'll go and buy 5 of each, and then he'll put it on eBay and turn a profit.
Wow.
I think he does them as auctions.
Huh.
As far as I know. I never looked into him because I'm in the same area too, so I don't really need to have anybody help me with that kind of stuff.
Correct.
If anything, I need someone in middle America to help me fucking get all this shit that never comes out over here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a great idea. Come up with some catchy little store name and then just go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds actually really good.
It's just, not, I want to say pipe dreams, but just ideas on the
very
dry
doable.
erase board, on the whiteboard right now.
I think it's doable. I think it's definitely doable. I mean,
just
a lot
something
of
to
things are.
bring around, because, like, alone with her in this current state that we're living in, we're fine financially.
Right, that's good.
But I want to be able to have more so that we can have more, as far as, like, a bigger place,
Right.
and be able to save up for vacations, trips, moving out of the country, whatever have you.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I mean, that's all, really what it's all about, is just like us fulfilling our dreams. If anything, like I said, at this time of halt, of the world turning, is if anything, has put a lot of things in perspective for a lot of people to try to figure out what they want as people. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I know that things are just, the world is gonna turn no matter what. So you gotta.
So hold on.
Yeah, pretty much. But like I was saying before, I know that getting back into the scene of meeting people, dating, it might have to result into using apps and application, and I'm not really ready for that. I think it's silly. I
It's not for everybody.
I've tried it just to see, and it's a sabotage. It's really like meant for beautiful people. Like, in my opinion, it's because it's all based off looks, obviously, because you're just looking at their picture first, and it sucks too because it's like, oh, say something interesting. And I know I have a coworker who will love to. I can't wait to go back to work and talk to him about this to see if he's still in that. He was talking a lot of shit and telling me a lot of things of how he feels about it. So I know that he would be a good guest to have on when I continue to have guests that don't already live here on, and he'll love to rant about that because I remember one of the things before this all happened in the world is that was one of the things he was complaining about is just how fucking ridiculous people are in those apps and in this world when it comes.
Well,
to
because everyone's a liar. They have to.
I know they are fucking liars.
Not even necessarily just a liar, but everyone exaggerates because they have to impress you right away because of the way earlier generations after us
There's
are.
so
They're
many.
very short attention span. So everything's abbreviations, and you know, I try to adapt, but to a certain point, it gets ridiculous. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna have a conversation in emojis. Go fuck right off. I'll
No.
use emojis. I'll get with the times in that aspect, but I'm not gonna sit here and fucking do winky face, squirt emoji, eggplant. Huh? Do you understand? No, I don't fucking understand.
Yeah.
Why is your produce wet?
Well, it's just they need to wash their fruit before they consume it. It's a very just keep
but
it safe.
again, it's just like quick. Everything's quick and to the point with them, which is great in a sense. No beating around the bush. Pun intended? I don't really know. But like this is what I want to do. Let's do it. I got other things to do afterwards.
Right.
Like it's saying, I want to fuck. Let's fuck. I gotta go. You know.
And that's even if you're looking for that. I don't think that's even that easy.
Well, I think a lot of the perpetual stereotype of a lot of those apps has ruined the outlook of a lot of the legitimate apps.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like there's that new app, I don't remember what it's called, but it's that one that's designed to be deleted, so you're supposed to find someone. Hinge? Yeah, I think it's Hinge.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to find someone, and when you find someone, boom, it deletes everything. Or whatever the hell it's supposed to do. No, not sponsored.
I think it's bullshit.
I
think it's just like the other ones.
It's a weird app.
Just a
but
different.
hell, listen, man, when I was in, what the fucking year was it? 2007?
Uh-huh.
You know, and I met someone through MySpace. That was fucking weird for me.
That is weird.
You know, I randomly decided to talk to this girl on MySpace, and hell, I could have fucking died. Spoilers, I didn't. Well, I died a little inside, but.
Well, how did that go?
She was a fine person. She was really, you know, she was cute.
Was she fine?
Huh?
Was she fine?
To me.
Okay.
You know, like I found her attractive, and
Right,
that's
all
that.
that matters.
I mean, my mindset in 2007 is different than it is now because.
Oh yeah, you're married now. That's why, right?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of time to grow and adjust and realize what I want and stuff like that. But even at then, I knew what I didn't want after 2 weeks, and that was to say the L word.
Oh.
You know, so like it was one of those relationships where it was fun.
Okay.
You know, intimate right off the back. I didn't really feel we had a lot in common. Aside from sexual attraction. So it was kind of like, in a sense, shallow. Because she was really into a certain clown-faced musical group. And that's fine. Now I'm okay with that. It's like, all right, you know, I can respect them to a degree. Not necessarily the fans. The fans can be a little weird in my perspective, but that's just me. A lot of the ones I've met anyway.
Oh. No.
But aside from, like, that was her most outgoing part of her, as far as I can remember off the back of my head.
But those are like.
But she wasn't like, so, like,
She's a chocolate.
the most, you know, living in Orlando at the time in 2007 by yourself or with two other roommates, that's her situation. When I went to her apartment and met her roommates, you know, all she had was her 7 ICP posters, black lights, and a mattress on the floor. We've all been in that similar scenario. Just replace
I was
posters
18.
with something else.
Yeah.
And so that's not the only thing I was like, oh shit, she's an ICP fan. That's
what made you not run right away?
Because I was just gonna give it a shot. Like, yeah, I talk a lot of shit about X and Y or whatever, but I'm not gonna necessarily negate someone automatically just because they like ICP. It's not fair. It's like, oh, you like comics and Gundams and fucking whatever.
That's the boat that I'm in as an adult too. Is that it makes you either totally neglect or double down on the things that you feel like when you're by yourself. When you're with somebody, you're willing to sacrifice a lot of those things. I find that that's something that I
don't feel like you should have to sacrifice, but you need to find a balance.
You find the balance, but I mean like sacrifice. I mean like, I guess sacrifice is the wrong word. It was more like you could definitely find the nothing materialistic would really
and that's
trump an interaction with a person.
Right, and that's not what I wanted to base her or any relationship I ever had with was materialism or hobbies or things that person liked or whatever, because those are unique. Everybody likes different shit, and you shouldn't feel bad for liking something because someone else doesn't like it as much or at all. So boom, I wasn't gonna moving on from the ICP thing, whatever. She, when it came to music, like, we would drive in my car. I lived in close to UCF at the time. And then she lived close to Disney. Right? So that's like an hour.
I was gonna say like 45 minutes an hour?
It's like a 45 minutes to an hour, right?
Okay.
At the time I started dating her car was in the shop.
Okay.
So I had to drive anytime I wanted to go see her.
Right.
So I had to balance going to see her and then going to work. At the time I worked at Spencer's. Go figure.
Yeah. You could have hooked her up with some of her posters.
Yeah, no. So I worked there, and so like I would have bounce out from going to work, being at the home, and then going, to see her however long, right?
Yeah.
And after a while, when she got her car back, I was like, hey, do you want to come on over to my place? This and that, you can sleep over and this and that, whatever, right? And she was like, nah, it's too far.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. I just thought, since all those times I drove to you, you could drive once in a while to me.
Yeah.
Because I actually have a bed that's off the floor.
Yeah. Not on the fucking, yeah. Totally not interested.
So, it's like, that was like strike one.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what strike two, but strike three was definitely dropping the L word after like 2 weeks of dating.
To you?
Yeah. Like, she dropped it to me. I was like, wow, I love lamp, but that's a little too soon.
Yeah, that is too soon. Especially if the feeling's on me. Wow, it's crazy for someone to just drop the word.
Yeah, so like
that. She doesn't even want to drive to you.
Right, I was just waiting on my option. Oh, I remember what strike two was kind of. Strike two was not necessarily like. It
was more like a foul ball than.
It was more like a.
It
was more like a very like, okay, like, an interesting aspect, I guess. I don't expect, I have a very broad taste in music.
Mm-hmm.
So like at the time, for me having an iPod or whatever the fuck I had back in 2007, for her to like literally skip my playlists over and over again, like just constantly skipping the songs and maybe finding like one out of 185 songs to listen to, it's just like, really don't like any of this kind of stuff?
No.
Like, I'm sorry I don't have any Great Milenko or whatever the fuck else ICP does.
Oh God, I don't know. I have no idea.
So like, but like, I hope that's not like your only one note. It's just like, I love ICP and that's it.
And that's it. It's in my blood.
She did like this one song from Deftones, but
okay.
But like, she didn't want me to play it because it put her in a certain mood, like in a horny mood. So I was like, so you like it, but you don't want to play it. Okay. Like, especially while we're driving. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. It could have been something more deeper than that.
Maybe.
But, you know, it's just like, okay. No real taste, no real good, like, no compromises in music as far as, like, you know, we like this, but we don't like that. Or I like this and you don't like that. But we like this, and we can enjoy this together. Or I can give this a shot, or you can give this a shot. You know, like, she wasn't meeting me halfway.
Yeah, well, that's
with
what
a
I
lot
was
of
gonna say,
aspects.
but yet she loved you.
Right? Yeah, you can drop the L word, but you can't drop some gas to drive to see me.
Right. Oh,
So-
well, that's why you know. I mean, no offense to you, but it was probably safe to say that she didn't really love you.
No, yeah. I mean,
She
I
just
think she
said
liked
it.
the
She probably-
idea
yeah,
of
she-
me and the relationship and
Yeah.
being with someone.
It's
Whatever.
like saying the word.
Right. She said the word, she didn't have the meaning behind it.
Question:
Yeah.
how much younger was she than you? Because
so-
it sounds very.
In 2000, how old am I now? I'm 36. Fuck.
Shit.
Let me do some math here. I don't know. Probably, I want to say, like, let's just 5 years.
She's only 5 years younger than you.
Maybe. I'm guessing ballparking right now because I don't want to do math.
Okay, so
I know she was
5 years younger than you.
I think at the
13 years
time
ago.
she was of age, 18 or
Okay.
plus.
So
But I
you're-
don't think she was old enough to drink,
Okay.
as far as I know.
2007, you said, right?
Yeah.
So that's 13 years ago. 13 years ago from you being you're 23,
Okay, 23.
right?
So,
yeah, 23, and then 5 years younger than you. So she was like 18.
18, 19, yeah. Probably
Yeah.
something
So
like that.
she doesn't know shit from fuck,
Yeah, no.
and that was the problem.
Yeah. You know, so, you know.
And that's another thing too. Being older, that's something that I think about. It's like, what do I go for? Like now I have to worry about. Like I was fortunate enough to be the same age as my fiance, and then now, in the future, it's just like, are those things going to be a fucking factor? You know,
Right.
Age, and how much younger can I get? Because it's different now. Because with your case, granted, it was a while ago, and you were younger in your 20s, but fucking 18-year-old is an 18-year-old for the most part. You know, like as far as mentally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't come across an 18-year-old who's a little bit more mature, but
No, it's
when you're in your fucking 30s, man,
I think.
yeah, there's a lot of fucking things that I'm well beyond.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still have a shit ton of toys and fucking play video games all the fucking time, but again, I'm still an adult when
But
it comes
that's-
to my
that's-
emotions and mentally.
Yeah, like
you
that's
know?
just us being
That's my
comfortable
fucking that's,
with the things that we like and not thinking like, well, I'm not an adult. I need to get rid of this childish stuff.
right. Yeah, fuck that. I mean, because again, you know, I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
like if that's the way you want to be, that's fine. But that's not the way I want to be.
yeah.
Like I like being surrounded by little plastic representations of bullshit I like.
It's called a fucking hobby at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even like
It's better than
it's not like I'm
gambling.
fucking sitting there picking these things up and just like fucking smashing
Right, I'm
them
not
together.
smashing them together. I'm like pew pew pew. I mean,
pew,
maybe
pew.
sometimes I'm a little drunk, but
Hey, you want to go play toys?
it's called posing in photography.
Hey man, there's a difference between you're growing up and you have figures and shit like that, and you're a child. I don't have a toy box.
Yeah,
I don't have a chest.
they're
toy
called
chest.
totes. That's where I keep all my toys. No, they're all displayed on a shelf, and
Yeah,
some of
it's
them cost
fucking-
$200+.
Right. So essentially, if you see a guy, ladies, if you are with a man who has a ton of toys, they could be worth something one day.
Yeah,
And he
if
might
they
be
died,
he
you
may,
can
might
sell
be
them.
willing enough to sell exactly. He might be willing enough to sell them.
So I told my wife, I'm like, if I die, just you can keep it if you want, but I won't be offended if you sell it.
Yeah.
You know, let someone else enjoy them.
Yeah, if you look at it. Oh, somebody's watched Toy Story one too many times.
Cry every time.
So anyways, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this will be an ongoing thing. It's going to be fun going on this journey. But right as of right now, it's the last thing on my motherfucking mind.
I mean,
Literally
not to
the
bring
last
it back to me again, but another example I wanted to bring up was like after I broke up with the ex I was with for almost 10 years off and on, the older woman. I I don't think we ever talked about that.
Did we
story.
ever fucking say that
I don't think
story?
I ever said the whole story, but we'll do that another night.
Okay.
But
we will. Maybe
so
next time.
just, you know,
I'm going to go look at all the other previous videos and make sure that we haven't talked about this.
Right.
Because this is a fucking story.
just a recap in case I have talked about it or haven't talked about it. Ex, 17 years older than me, 3 kids. I was 18 at the time when we first
I went
met.
out with one of them.
Yeah. And he dated one of them.
At the same time.
It was weird. It's fun. It's early 2000s.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this story.
So off and on again, on again, off again relationship for 10 years.
Right.
You know, we loved each other very much, but she had her demons and I had my things I had to learn and grow up and move past and whatever. But you know, all in all, the connection was there, but it wasn't working out and like in many aspects. But you know, it helped me grow up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're 18, you move out of your house and you try to live with an older woman you wanted to bang once, and they have 3 kids that you have to help take care of, and then you got to balance out your time with your friend who's dating one of them. Trying to keep all that a secret before
you didn't have
it
to
all
worry
came
about
out.
visiting me. I was over.
Yeah, trying to keep all that a secret before it all came out, tumbling down. Ooh, man. That was tough.
I will say, if we don't have any other better topics to talk about, and I find out that we have not talked about it, they will be next episode. Will be
Yeah, next episode. Yeah, I don't feel like getting into it now
because it can.
I'll have to take notes in order to remember all the.
We
good
will
stuff.
take notes, and I'll take notes of my little part of that, and then I too have followed in your footsteps and made a mistake of being with an older woman with children.
I mean, I think it helps you grow faster.
It does a little
in
bit.
a mental state,
In a
like
mental
you know, it
state.
makes you really realize. Like so. Anyway, getting onto that, after we broke up, and I moved. The time we broke up, I was living in South Carolina. That I moved on a whim to go up there. Had her come and join me eventually. We broke up. Huge fall. I sent her packing. Eventually, I ran from South Carolina and my lease, and moved back. You know, home temporarily until I moved back to Orlando. Again, to live with James's other podcast co-host from Tiny Table Talk,
Oh yes,
Chris. I was in a state where I didn't know what I wanted as far as the relationship. You know, like I knew that I wanted to like hook up and just have fun, but at the same time I was still nervous. You know, I didn't know how the game was played anymore. I felt like an old person being, yes, I was only like 20, like my late 20s, but I felt like an old man. You know, I felt like, especially like working at Starbucks and being around all these younger people who were hot as fuck. Thinking I always stood out because I was like, I'm the old man.
Yeah.
Sit on my face. You know, maybe that's not the best way to introduce myself, but it sometimes worked.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there was 2 years or 3 years that I lived with him, or however long it was. Probably wasn't that long, but like, I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Towards the end, it kind of got easier,
Right. Give me just a second. Keep on talking.
you know. But eventually, I figured it out. It's all about time. It doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it does, but often it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's a confusing thing, but you know, relationships and being with people, you feel like, do I need to be validated? Do I not? I think it's just the human interaction is a very important thing in general. I think that's the most important, you know, part of life is just being able to coexist with others. And of course, when you find that one person who you can really feel comfortable with, it can be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, aside, like when moving on to a new relationship or any kind of new territory, is to find comfort within yourself, with yourself.
Yeah, you cannot move on as a person with somebody if you cannot move on as a person with yourself. You have to be 100% content with yourself, In order to
And
really
you're never
make
going to
things
be 100% all
I
the
mean,
time,
in the sense
content.
that you
But-
have a
right.
handle on you.
You know what you like, you know what you want, you know
Right.
who you are.
Right.
You know your flaws, you know your pros, you know your cons, you know. And you need to be aware of that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you'll never grow, you'll never learn, and you'll never adapt, and you'll
Right.
never compromise with your significant other of choice, you know, in certain aspects, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important, man. Shit. I just know that, you know, I've honed in on the things that make me me, and that's gonna be the fun part of this, is getting to remember, or just fine tune myself, you know, physically, mentally, you know. That's what I'm gonna do to take advantage of this time. I just hate that it has to be, you know, happening when there's a pandemic around.
Yeah.
That's the stressful part. I'm easily crumbled mentally when it comes to things that are outside my control. So as this is happening, it's really hard for me. I mean, there was a point in my life where things like this really wouldn't affect me at all. Like, I could totally see myself in my teens to my early 20s just being like, you know, whatever. Well, I'll live. I'll figure it out. You know, I'm gonna be fine. But as I get older, man, and get a little bit more, you know, get a little bit slapped in the face of reality and life, and just things get a little bit more rough for me to cope and handle. You know, I fight a lot of these things, as like I said, like health issues and stuff like that starts slamming down on you. I'm fucking diabetes now, and I fucking have to catheterize every other couple days or so, and just little things, and taking tons of pills in the morning, and just doing shit like that really fucking weighs on you as a human. You know, you just kind of go, ugh. But you go, why am I doing this? It's like, oh, because I want to live.
Yeah, it's never a fun aspect to have to sit there and be like, I need these pills to live.
Yeah.
It's like that Ralph Wiggum meme where it's just like you wake up and you're just like, I'm in danger.
Pretty much.
Every day.
Yeah.
Especially when you get older.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I should have listened to Hulk Hogan, ate my vegetables, drank my milk, and exercised more.
Yeah. But again, it's like, it just, for me, it's just like my mental strength is just, I just try to, you have to really work that shit out too. You know?
Yeah.
You can't just, sit there and, kind of let things go. You kind of have to work things out in your head on the why. Because as you get older, you know more things. And as you know more things, it starts weighing on you, and you just start really thinking, oh, what am I going to do? You know, like why do I think this? You know, you ask questions. You know, yes is no longer an acceptable answer to these things. You know, just say yes. Just say, you know, you go, why? You know, if I feel a certain way, if I act a certain way, I go, why? Why is it like this? You know, I don't just throw my decision blindingly into things. Obviously it doesn't help that I'm not religious. And if you are religious, more power to you. I commend you in your choice of faith, whatever that may be. But I have a long time ago took that decision for myself to not be religious and not choose to have faith be my way, inevitably making everything harder for myself in the process, if I were to be honest. Now you could easily say, well, James, why don't you just be religious again? You were used to be Catholic, so why don't you just do that again? Here's the problem. When you take your blinders off, when you take those things that were making you see narrowly, and again, a lot of people will disagree with that. You know, obviously, if you are religious, you're not going to agree with that at all. But when you do that, it really, really is hard to just kind of just jump back into it, considering if you question it and you've already built a logic that you've put in your head. that is the way that makes sense. And I've accepted it. I've all the reasons why anything has ever happened in the world, I've already come up with my own reason on why that is. And it's pretty foolproof and solid. So to tell me otherwise, it's a little bit ridiculous. And all of that is based off of the reality of what I see around me. So faith is a really hard thing for me to have, unfortunately.
Even in a non-religious aspect.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone hears the word faith and they automatically think religion.
Right.
But it's hard to have faith in the government. It's hard to have faith in yourself sometimes. It's hard to have faith in
others, others in general.
Whether this weed's going to hit me differently or not.
I don't have faith in this marijuana joint. I don't have faith in this freaking tray of brownies, man. I don't know if it's going to get me there or get me over there. But, yeah, I hear you. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound all gloom and doom, but it's just where I put it for me, and it sucks, but yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll get better. And that's why I'm doing this, to talk to everybody and have these little open conversations to get myself there. There will be a tipping point or something where it'll all make sense for me at the end. So that is the beautiful thing, and I thank you all for being on that journey with me to doing that. Yeah,
I wish the best for you, man.
Thank you. And you are one of those things that are helping me. Being surrounded by friends and loved ones is the most important thing. It helps you go through your day to day and kind of forget about all those things that you're doing to keep yourself alive. You live instead of just like trying to make yourself like force yourself to like be breathing. You're living instead of surviving. That's how I see it.
Nobody else is going to know what you want. Only you know what you want. So talk to yourself. Figure it out.
Yeah. Well, usually this podcast doesn't get as deep as it usually does, and we don't even go this long on like one main topic, but I feel like taking a cue from watching Mark's stream, Mark Ribier's stream, the stream that I got to talk to him on, he ended it a little early because he was satisfied at the end result, and he just didn't want to force it more than he should when it was going so good. And I feel, for me, that this podcast is also went pretty good. Unless, Berto, you have anything to add on to it.
No.
Any thoughts, comments, concerns? And usually I run at least an hour, and sometimes more. But I'm thinking this is a good spot to end it. We'll definitely be back. I definitely am more excited to get back into the swing of being a little more lighthearted and joking and bullshitting. We'll definitely have a great story lined up for you guys. I don't think I ever got into details about that. I think that's going to be what we have to talk about, is your past relationship with the older women. And mine too. I'm not victimless in that sense,
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I mean, I think it's a good place to call it. I definitely enjoyed doing this, and Mother's Day is today. So obviously,
say hello to your mother for me.
Say hello to your mom for me. I know I will. But yeah. Anyway, everybody out there, have a lovely, lovely Mother's Day. Also, if you guys haven't already noticed and you've been listening to the podcast, I put the outro as the intro, because the outro is now the new intro, because I have now a new outro. An outro that I love the fact that I got to talk to Mark Ribier on his stream, and his thing is very on topic and theme. The song that he made after our conversation was very on theme with the theme that we at least had today, and I think in respect of that, and I feel like I have to just end it with that song. So here is that, and everybody out there, stay safe, And just remember, you always can talk to somebody. And someone's always out there listening. All right. I'm out. Berto?
I'm out.
All right. We're out. Peace.
Take a look at the feelings, gotta analyze a little bit of feeling, gotta do this, yeah, man, gotta who that shit, gotta go ahead, baby, call that shit, baby. Call that motherfucking therapist, baby. If you don't got a therapist, call your mom. If you don't got a mom, call your motherfucking friend. If you don't got a friend, talk to the person under the bridge and they'll tell you about your problem. Gotta go talk that, gotta 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 go ahead, baby, go ahead and talk that, gotta go ahead and baby, gotta talk that, gotta go ahead and get your feelings out, baby, go ahead and talk that, gotta talk that. Talk to me, baby, yo, I'm gonna help you. Talk to me, baby girl, I'm gonna help you. Talk to me, baby boy, I wanna help you. Talk to me, baby boy, I wanna help you. Talk to me, 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 talk to me. Go ahead and talk down. 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 Go ahead and talk Talk, baby, gotta talk that. Gotta talk the talk, gotta talk that. If you're not feeling well, baby, gotta talk it out. Gotta get it from the inside to the outside. Gotta externalize that shit. Gotta take it from the bottom of your stomach to the top of the lift and to get that out. Now you feel a little better. Now you do that shit. Gotta exercise. Gotta exercise. Gotta exercise. Gotta exercise your mind. Gotta exercise your mind. Gotta exercise your